All right, music fans, welcome back again. It is the Real Music Observer, Dave, observing real music in real time for real people just like you right there, and probably you over there, and me. Tony Banks from Genesis is in the news because he has recently stated that he believes a Genesis reunion would be really cool. These comments after an interview where more or less he's talking about how he got to see Phil Collins play a concert on his Not Dead Yet tour. Phil, during the concert, is seated for the entire gig. He's got back problems. We know he doesn't play drums anymore or has real difficulty doing so. He's got his son Nick up there playing. But, you know, all the usual characters are helping him, in addition to his son, who apparently sounds a lot like his dad. I have not listened to an entire concert, but I can tell you he does kind of model his father's playing on the songs I've heard. And again, you got Daryl Stuermer playing guitar up there, who I believe is an amazing guitar player, should get some kudos, but he doesn't usually even register on people's radar as far as being a great guitar player. And Lee Sklar on bass. I mean, if you're not a fan of Lee playing bass, he's usually the guy up there. You can tell he's got this super beard going. He could probably fill in for one of the members of ZZ Top if they just wanted a stunt double or something. He is a great bass player, and he's been with Phil off and on for years. In any event, Phil is actually heading to places like Brazil and Argentina next month, Mexico, Puerto Rico. Hopefully they get the power on in Puerto Rico. He can play a gig there. And it's likely that maybe after this tour, you might see the three original guys get back together again. I think it'd be even cooler if they recorded something, too, prior to the tour, have these guys record some new music, maybe an original song rather than a cover version of something. Mike Rutherford has been busy with his band Mike and the Mechanics. He's got some new folks singing. Mildly impressed with the Mike and the Mechanics stuff, but I'll tell you what, Genesis just, to me, for a few years, and of course you had Phil solo out there too, so it was just an onslaught of Phil and his vocal ability, and just song after song. If you liked the Genesis album, you had No Time to Breathe, and then you had a Phil album, and the famous Shapes album, I think, was kind of like the peak of everything for Genesis, although looking back, you gotta love Invisible Touch, and all of the Phil music that's sandwiched in there, No Jacket Required, and, it was such a string of just phenomenal music that you've got to think maybe there's one more Genesis tour left to be had. And Tony Banks is very enthusiastic. Tony, of course, plays keyboards, and prog fans love Tony because he's got this really cool style. And he's a great keyboard player. All three of these guys are just brilliant musicians, and it would be great possibly have Nick along to play drums for his dad, and invite the usual guests into the live performance, and I think it could be done. I don't see why not. I mean, the set list might have to be tailored a little bit to keep Phil in the chair so he doesn't fall out of the chair trying to hit those notes or trying to be too crazy. I don't think they want to do Mama live, for instance, but maybe it's easier to do that seated, I'm not sure. But tell you what, it would be great to see Phil Collins and Genesis back at it just for one more time. That's all we're asking, one more time. Same thing with Led Zeppelin, just one more time. I mean, we are at the end of an era, people, and we've got to encourage these guys to get off their duffs and get busy, all right? Because this music, at least the live form of it, is going bye-bye. So let's hope for the best. Let's hope that Tony Banks gets a hold of Phil and they talk, and Mike Rutherford is invited in, and we've got a tour. Let's hope for all of that. All right, I'm Dave. This is the Real Music Observer. Will Genesis tour again? That's the question of the day. and I will talk to you soon in a brand new video coming up soon. Talk to you then.